I think the president was thinking big tonight, and I'm tired of people saying we're broke, we got to turn inward, we can't do things. When I think of Dwight Eisenhower and the interstate system, of Franklin Roosevelt in remaking the country, of Abraham Lincoln and the Transcontinental Railroad, we know how to make things, particularly in my state of Ohio. We know how to build things, we know how to make things, we know how to sell things around the world. And when the Chinese are building airports and highways and our construction workers are unemployed, that simply doesn't make sense.
They have no excuse for not having hearings beginning tomorrow and passing this legislation. If they don't, it will be a clear statement to the American people that they have no interest whatsoever in doing even the minimum that the president laid out there. I think I would have gone much bigger. But the president was very reasonable. He's not asking over-the-top stuff.
What is the one thing you would like to institute tomorrow in the president's plan?
The infrastructure trust. I think that infrastructure bank, putting money in and using it to build the infrastructure this country needs, is exactly what Dwight Eisenhower did when he built the highway system.
I remember.
Yes. Nobody thought that was crazy. It's an investment in the future. The other investment in education, which is really an investment in human beings, is also important. But the biggest one is to start the construction of the things that need to happen in this country, and we have stopped doing it. We have no program going into space.
Yeah, if spending money and just spending money without a purpose is going to fix the problem, we wouldn't have a problem today because we sure spend enough. Now, with that being said, does this have a direction and purpose for infrastructure, which a lot of us thought it would be more before directed towards infrastructure, rebuilding America? And I've always said that. If you take the money that we're spending overseas in Afghanistan and Iraq, just bring that money home.
Oh, I thought it was a great, excellent speech. It was balanced. It had jobs. It had opportunity for young people for summer jobs. It had veterans employment, which made a lot of sense. And it had tax breaks, too. So there was something to appeal to Republicans as well as Democrats. I think it was a balanced speech, a balanced approach. Hopefully it'll have a balanced reception.
I'm already hearing from Republicans that I've talked to, though, that there's too much spending in it for their liking and that there's sort of a vagueness about the plan that they're skeptical of. I mean, what do you think it's going to take for this thing to pass the House? I mean,
my God, I'm shocked. I'm truly shocked that they didn't embrace it. I thought they would have. It was an American plan.
Let me ask you about the entitlement reform. The president obviously proposed, Medicare, Medicaid, putting those on the table. Does that make the Democrats in the House nervous at all, or are you willing to go along with that?
Well, I think it's something that needs to be looked at in the long term, and I think the president's always been a person who's looked at the long term for America, which is what a leader needs to look to, not just the next election. That's a politician. A statesman looks toward the next generation, and I think he's always been a statesman, and I think he's continuing to do that.
I thought it was a bold speech. And it was a speech that he had to make. And basically what he said to the Republicans is that you've had some great plans. I'm adopting your plans. That's basically what he said. And, you say you like certain tax cuts for those who create jobs. You got it. He said you want tax holiday with regard to payroll tax. You got it. He said you had a stimulus bill when we passed our stimulus bill that was actually smaller, but you believed in construction, you believed in giving these construction workers jobs, repairing our bridges, repairing our roads. You say you wanted it in better times. Now things have gotten worse. Now I'm giving it to you. Work with me. Let's make it happen.
I think that the American Jobs Act is something I can get behind. I was particularly interested in the small business piece and encouraging small businesses to hire people now and to get tax credits now. And so I look forward to parceling it out. The other thing that really resonated with me was the fact that he is going to make sure that it's paid for now, so that we're not actually adding more to our debt and deficit crisis, but rather creating jobs.
And how about some concerns?
I think that the biggest concern I have is that we as members of Congress won't work together to actually implement this plan. I mean, he really basically let us have it. He basically said that it's incumbent upon all of us, whether we're Republicans or Democrats, working together, because at the end of the day, that's the American way.
Well, I think the leadership on both sides of the aisle had to listen tonight to a very strong message. And whether people want to listen to the president or not, or whether they want to render the president out of the process, take a look at the 13% approval. It says it all. So Congress better start listening to people back home if they don't want to listen to the president. Listen to somebody tell us the truth about how we're perceived. I understand it. I went home. I had people telling me, asking me, why can't Congress work together? Why is it about job killing? Why is it about extreme partisanship? They see it. I listen. I've got good hearing, and I think others have to hear it, whether it's from the president or others. Congress has to hear it.